You are now tuning in to the Val and Val Show, where conversation is art, art, art. Conversation is art, conversation is art. You should chime in, ain't no telling what to spark on the Val and Val Show. Ain't no telling the Val and Val Show. You know, ain't no telling where we go on the Val and Val Show. Ain't no ceiling, cause the art of conversation is the flow. It's that creativity available when we speak, available in our homes, available in the streets. We just trying to get it sparking and take it a little deeper. Keep it casual while fireside chatting with our people. Yeah, we take it a little deeper. It get hot when we fireside chatting with our people. Cause conversation is art, conversation is art. You should chime in, ain't no telling what'll spark on the Val, the Val and Val Show, the Val and Val Show.
Well, hello. And I'm going to tell y'all right now, I was tired. I was a little tired tonight, okay? I'm just going to tell y'all the truth. I'm a little bit tired. And anyway, Tiff not here yet, but I'm going to get her started. She had another event going on, so she going to be doing double duty tonight. So she'll come in later. But anyway, welcome everyone. Glad you are here. Hope all is well with everyone. As I said, I'm a little tired. Had a busy week to week. I've had a Zoom class for recertification on Monday and Tuesday. And then I had a nursing conference Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday this week. So I'm a little bit tired, but I'm going to be okay. I'm going to get through it. Anyway, hope all is well with you all. Welcome. Glad you are joining us. Ask everyone to please like and share this. As you know, on Hot Topic Thursday, see, I'm confused. We talk about whatever. We just talk about whatever. So that's what we're going to do. It's a lot going on. And as we know, in today's society, we can expect anything on any given day. So all I can say is that to protect your sanity, do what you need to do. Do what you need to do. Stay away from social media, cut back on the news, because if you don't, you just will not make it. You will be in a state of constant turmoil. And if you don't watch it, move from situational depression to actual depression. So just remember that. Remember that. Take care of yourself. Hey there, Eleanor. How you doing? So look, to get started, I'm going to put this up, you all. Have a young lady. She has a home care business. Her name is Quateria Bryant. She is in the process of hiring. So if you feel that you have the ability to work with people who need home caregivers to sit with them in their home, they may be aging, they may be short-term recovery for some surgeries or whatever they may have, please give God Sitting Partners LLC Home Care Service a try. You can fill out your application on their website. I'm also going to drop it here in the chat. However, if you know you got some issues and you can't dealing with people gently, this is not the place for you. And if you have sticky fingers, we don't want you going to people's homes taking their stuff. This is not the place for you. If you have any tendency toward abuse, this is not the place for you. We want people who feel like their calling is to take care of people and to treat them well. So God Sitting Partners, if you are looking for a job and have the gift of caring for people with gentleness and care. Also, we want to recognize that it is Stop the Violence Against Women Month, domestic violence. We also know men can be a victims of domestic violence, so we honor that as well. But generally, it is women, and also it is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. So, ladies out there, please get your mammogram. Please do your breast checks each month, and also men, because we now know men can also have breast cancer. I've just about come to the conclusion we need to stop advertising these diseases and illnesses based on gender, because it appears that what we thought was not in others is. I went in the conference, I learned now that they are actually pushing to screen men for osteoporosis because it's prevalent in them. So just remember, go to the doctor if you can. If you cannot, and don't have insurance, start out with the local health department. And there are organizations out there provide free mammograms. So look into some of those. So I'm going to get started while I wait on Tiff to come in. As I said, she had another event. So you all, I'm just going to start about talking about some things. I've just noticed that it's insanity to me. You all know we've had two hurricanes in the past few weeks. We had Hurricane Helene that was devastating. I mean, wow. I mean, next to Katrina, I can't think of anything more devastating. I know Camille and long ago, but I'm talking about in recent years. But I happen to be looking online, and y'all, James Spann, who is one of the most trusted meteorologists in our Birmingham area. You know, we grew up with James Spann, and we used to say when James Spann took his jacket off, we knew we better start taking this serious. So apparently, people were pushing back. Y'all, they tying the hurricane announcements to politics. What kind of deep holes, y'all, are we going down that we have lost our minds? That we would literally not take weather reporting serious because of politics. He actually posted something saying, look, I don't have an issue with you all disagreeing with me, but when y'all getting out with these conspiracy theories saying that one party is pushing to make the hurricane be worse than what it is, when all this devastation that it had, telling people don't leave, don't let them control you by telling you to evacuate. Y'all, we are in a terrible state as humans. It's y'all, it's just mind boggling that we would be. I can't even have words to describe it. I don't even have words to describe it, what we are going through. Hey, Tiff.
Hey, I'm sorry.
No, I told them you were had another video. You were being a little late, but Tiff, I had to start out about the conspiracy about the hurricane that people have politicized the
Please don't do that.
hurricane.
I don't even know what to do with the idea that somebody may be sitting in a room, creating hurricanes. Now, I will say that I do know that our behavior, the things we emit into the atmosphere,
Yeah.
that probably has an impact on the weather, but I don't know that there's any people that can actually control the weather. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, she like doubled down on that too. Like, she stood 10 toes down on somebody's controlling the weather and sending it to certain places.
Yeah.
I
But
just,
it's crazy. But you know what? I was referring, James Spann. James Spann is
yeah,
the most trusted meteorologist. And I was telling him he had to put out a disclaimer to say, listen, people, do not politicize this. We're trying to get people to safety. And y'all saying
right.
stay. They were trying to control you. Y'all, I grew up in South Alabama. Okay, hurricanes ain't no joke. They are no joke. We need to take this serious. And the fact that he had to put that out there, Hurricane Helene, devastated. I told him next to the Katrina in the most recent years, we haven't had one. This devastated. I mean, and there's no telling when those people are going to recover. And it ain't got nothing to do with being Democrat, Republican, Independent. These are human beings. So much so, y'all. I got to put this up. I said I need to give y'all some scripture, and the reason, well, I don't care about y'all not wanting the scripture, but I'm giving it to you because this is what I believe. And if you got a problem with it, click off. You ain't got to watch anyway. But since most of the people on both sides claim they love the Lord so much and they are Christians, y'all need to know that this is in the Bible. This right here. This is Galatians 5:14 through 15. And I didn't have enough space to copy and paste 13. So I'm going to read that one to you. 13 says, you, my brothers and sisters, were called to be free, but do not use your freedom to indulge the flesh. Rather serve one another love. Did y'all hear that key word love? Then it goes on to say, for the entire law is fulfilled in keeping this one commandment. It says,
Love
am
your
I frozen to y'all? Because I'm frozen to myself. It says, love your neighbor as yourself. If you bite and devour one another, watch out. You will be destroyed by one another.
Uh-huh.
Y'all, we gonna be destroyed. This is gone crazy. Tiff, Tiff, I don't have words. I'm like, what the world is going on with us that we will say the meteorologists are in on some conspiracy to have people evacuated to get to safety.
But and you know the thing about it is, and you touched on this, is the danger in that.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? The real inherent danger in that, and not being able to trust the experts and not trusting, you know, what they're saying and what they're asking you to do and to move to safety and kind of what's going on. It's unfortunate because that is extremely dangerous.
yeah. And look, I ain't gotten to your topic, what we talked about. That's coming. That's coming. And so, and then down in Florida, you know, well, no, actually, I think it might have been in Florida, refusing FEMA help, not accepting the calls from the White House. Let me tell you something. If I am in a terrible situation, need help, and I'm just going to use him for the purpose of this. If Donald Trump showed up and could get me out the ditch, guess what I'm going to do? When he reaches his hand down there, I'm
Right.
coming out the ditch. And I'm like this, if Donald Trump coded in front of me, I'm going to offer help. I am not going to sit there maliciously. Yeah, we got to stop this. You can become the very thing you hate. If we keep going down this road, you all, what I just said, we're going to devour each other. I
Mhm.
mean, it's like we can't have a conversation without calling somebody a liar. I mean, we have the venom, y'all, has gotten so toxic. And let me tell you something. We talk about the shootings, the crimes, and everything that's going on, y'all. With this hostility, the way it's going, this will make somebody that was never intended to do a crime
Commit.
pop off.
Mhm.
And in a minute, you will have changed the whole course of your life and those connected to you with this anger. You know, the Bible do say, be angry and sin not. Y'all, we got to get ourselves together. We got to get ourselves together. And then, so Tiff, you want to jump into the big topic,
What's what? Which
the interview.
interview? The interview. So I
You just got real blurry. I don't know what's going on. You out there in the country, real country, don't
you
you?
know what? Can you hear me?
I can hear you good, so keep
Okay.
talking.
Okay, so the interview. So I actually so let's talk about both interviews. The
Yeah.
Charlamagne the God interview and the Brett Bear interview. And so
Okay, so you can talk about. I don't know about Charlamagne yet because I've been at a conference, so I didn't get to watch that. But I did
okay,
watch
well,
Brett. So you,
listen to Charlamagne because I thought it was really good too. But the Brett Bear interview, so the one thing I want us to always remember, and I think we have to remember this too about pastors, like our politicians, just like our pastors, are real people, right?
yeah,
They're human. They put their pants on just like we do. They have feelings, you know, they have family, the whole nine. So I thought it was very good of her campaign to agree to that interview. Like whoever's
yeah,
running her campaign, I think they have done a phenomenal job. No matter what happens on November 5th, they have done an amazing job with just
yeah,
the campaign part. And so I thought it was really good that she went into the lion's den, right?
yeah,
And I don't think she, you know, I didn't expect much. And I think everybody kind of knew that it was going to be a hostile environment.
yeah.
I had, you know, I thought they were going to kind of ease into the hostility. I didn't know it was going to be hot as soon as, you know, it started. It started out real hot.
Well, let me say this before you go further. Let me tell you why I think that happened. If you recall, the National Association of Black Journalists, Trump accused Rachel Scott of that. Now, she did ask a hot butt question, but to me, it was not hostile.
But and I was gonna say it was two different kinds of things. She
Tones,
asked a
yeah.
very difficult question, but the tone and demeanor was not the same.
Not that
Right?
she jumped straight to it, but it
Right.
was not.
Exactly. The tone and the demeanor was very different. I had hoped that they were going to get to some other stuff, but I really kind of felt like it was going to probably really stay in that immigration space. And so
Mm-hmm.
I thought she did okay, right? I thought she matched energy very well. She probably did better than me because I probably would have acted ugly. But I did think that she asked that she handled herself. And there's always, and I
Yeah.
think on my Facebook post, I mentioned there were some spaces with some questions that I thought could have had a different answer or a better answer. But again, being someone who has been in interviews and who goes to court and hearings and argues back and forth,
Yeah.
it's not an easy thing to think quick on your feet, respond,
Yeah.
and cover all of the things that you want to do, all on the spot. So I think we have to also remember that, hey, you ain't gonna always say everything you want to say. You're not gonna
Yeah.
always say it the right way. But I mean, all in all, I thought she did exactly what she went there to do, and that was to show strength in the face of a very difficult
And going there knowing, for me, and like I said, I just watched this about 30, 40 minutes ago because like I said, I've been in conference all day. For me, she initially I thought she kind of like, is he coming at me like that? And I was like, okay, now come on, Kamala, you should have came locked and loaded, ready for that.
setting.
Uh, for that. But and let me put my disclaimer out here. Y'all, I'm apolitical. I don't like none of these politicians, okay? I don't like Democrats or the Republican. Lord Jesus, pray, because I'm like, Lord Jesus, what's going on in America? But anyway, what for me, what I saw with him, what I did not like, he kept interrupting her and talking over her. My thing is this, y'all, we know politicians politic.
Right.
We know if you ask them a yes or no question, they're not going to say yes or no, even though they can answer that way. They're going to go around the mountain and everything. So my thought is that if you're not ready for all that rhetoric and fluff, you shouldn't interview people. Now, me, I would have been answering question direct. They would have been like in shock. Oh, she really said that. Because let me tell you one thing I would have answered direct, and that they would have said, you shouldn't have said that, but it's who I am. When they asked her about Joe Biden mental decline, I would have been like, yeah, we noticed it. We were concerned. I mean, I just would, because it was obvious.
So, but let me say this. So I don't know how I feel about that question, and I really thought she answered it very well. She answered it way better than
Yes,
I would have, because my response would have been, "It ain't your business." Um, but you know, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I think the debate where
mm-hmm.
we saw him just really not perform well,
Yeah,
for me, I don't know if that was actually mental decline or if that was somebody who's 80 plus years old who's been going and going and going and going and
yeah.
going and going and going, and
I think it's a combination. It's a
it could
combination.
be because he's, I
Yeah.
mean, he is 80 something,
Yeah, and I
but
don't diagnose, but this is me from years
but
of being a nurse, looking at people in the ER. No, it's a combination
but
of
the other part of
both.
it is that you see him at other points and he's very well able to answer questions and very capable,
With
so
some rest, you saying
and
too.
that's what I'm saying, so I just think, he was doing what, 80-year-old folk do that's
Yeah.
been
Well,
running the
you
whole.
all listen. I'll be 59 October 26th. I'm having some mental decline just in stuff, and it's part of
Look,
aging.
I'm at 49.
And it's y'all, it's part of aging. I think the problem is with politics, and this is where I come in and say all of them got narcissistic, prideful, arrogant behavior. Kenny Rogers wrote the best song. You got to know when to hold them, know when to fold them, know when to walk, know when to run. Why is it so hard for people in politics to say it's time for me?
But it ain't just politics, though.
I'm just talking about. I'm speaking in
Yeah,
politics.
I mean, I think that's human. Most humans don't know when it's time to go home. And you look at, I take for instance, when I was at Spelman in 1997, Dr. Cole said, "I'm leaving," and we were devastated.
Uh
She was
huh.
at the height of her. I mean, she was doing amazing things, but her thing was, I did what I came here to do, and now it's time for me to go someplace else. And it takes a lot for people to
Yeah.
recognize. And when you talk about politics, if you look at in the black community
Hmm.
and the older politicians, like they don't want to let go at all. You know, they don't want to pass the torch. They don't want to make space and room
But that's my point. You see it more in
for
politics. You
younger
don't
people.
see no 90
You
year,
know,
for the most part. You don't see no teachers trying to go to their 80 and 90. You don't see no healthcare workers trying to go to their 80 and 90. So that's what I'm saying. But
I think it's that high D, that personality trait. What's the dominant person at type A?
yeah.
I bet they're all type A
Yeah,
personality.
and that type thing too. And also a lot of them self-centered and think they just all knowing. Now, as a matter of fact, in this conference I was in today, one of the topics they talked about, which I thought was really great, and they was speaking to healthcare, but it applies to life. They were talking about embracing the generations and prepping your younger generation to pass the torch to in a timely manner, that you've got to change. You cannot be telling them, oh, it's my way or the highway, which is one of the reasons in healthcare we struggle with keeping definitely nurses and probably other aspects, but also in politics. Because, hey, Tiff, look, your little god sister, my child, my Valisa is very blunt. If you don't want to hear her opinion, she's like, okay, I ain't got to deal with you, deuces, and no questions asked. So we have to change our mentality.
Right.
Also, somehow we got to take out the benefits of being a politician. What I mean by benefits, the monetary, figure out these kickbacks. My personal opinion, and I know people say, well, they got to have the money so they can run. I don't think it should be through these big corporate donations. I think that should be banned, because when somebody give you that much money, you are buying whatever it is you want. I think they should have to do grassroots, get the dollars from us, the $5 or whoever giving it to them. And if you take away all of that, you may get the ship a little
But I
bit.
think we ought to have term limits.
Oh yeah, most definitely term limits.
I think we ought to have term limits, and
But
I
how do we do that as citizens? That's what I want to know. I want to be able. How can we push for term limits? Because I feel like if any time the federal government should come in, but it's the Congress and Senate ain't. If the president can only be the president for 8 years, that should be applicable to every office
well
everywhere.
for one, I think we can just do it as citizens. We can say
Yeah,
collectively, once we ain't gonna vote for you after you've had 2 terms. But I also
yeah,
think it's
true.
something that we have to collectively lobby for, and it definitely won't be something that happens easily because power concedes nothing.
You
Um,
got a point. Yeah, we have to take us, like today.
you
I
know, but
learned.
again, if there were enough people who really believed in term limits, all we have to do is when they do their 2 terms is not vote for them again.
Yep, you got some fans. I ain't gonna
I know
say her
I see
name,
my
but
classmates. I
Lena,
see
yeah.
my good friend Wayne Watts. I see my
The,
lifelong friend. Uh, I ain't gonna call his government name, D'Angelo Hardaway.
oh, look, and let me tell y'all. Look, I see the comments y'all putting in, but on here, she's just Tiff. She wanted us to make that clear. She's Tiff.
I
The
am.
other stuff is laid aside. I, but this is for shock. So today we had a nurse that was there, baby. She's a guru for about voting. And Tiff, I gotta share this with you. She gave me a card where you can scan. I can't it's Vote ER. I think that's the name of it. It's a badge you can order that when you're out, people can scan this badge with their phone and register to vote on the spot.
Oh wow, you need to send me that. So
I definitely will. So she shared, but this is what she shared. The majority of nurses in the United States of America do not vote.
that's interesting, given the
The majority.
has on healthcare. That's interesting. But you know what, Val, I on Tuesday, what's today? What's today? Thursday. Wednesday. Look, you talking about mental decline, either Tuesday or Wednesday, one of them. I don't know. I had an opportunity to speak to some students at Tuskegee University about voting. And I'll tell you, in watching the news and stuff, they give the impression that young people are not plugged into the election and that they aren't engaged. And I will say, I was so excited when I left there and talking to those students because they
Mm-hmm.
are really trying to be educated voters. They're interested in, the issues. We talked about one issue politics. We talked about Gaza. We talked about just the process of voting. A couple of them, even we talked strategy. Like, if you're a
Mm-hmm.
college student and you live in this state, is it beneficial for you to vote in that particular state or more beneficial for you to vote in Alabama? I mean, it was really engaging. I was extremely surprised. And it's a reminder, too, that sometimes our perception is
Yeah.
not reality, right?
True.
And we need to be open to the fact that what we see on TV and the stuff that's being reported may or may not be accurate when you actually get proximate to these groups of people.
You know what? One of the things pointed out was that she felt like in all the talks and everything she's done, because she goes all over the state of Alabama and all over the country too, she said that millennials truly believe in voting in candidates. And I think case in points, a lot of people don't know that.
Hmm.
Because Felice shared this with me. Kamala choosing Tim Walz was all about them doing campaigns on social media.
Oh yeah, yeah,
They knew about him
yeah.
and everything. So you all don't think these young folks sleeping.
No,
They are out here, and what they will do, they will come together. I know some things that even in Dallas, that as young people, they have gotten together and done. Their thing is you're gonna respect us if you want our vote. And if you do not, we would campaign heavily against you the next time to get you out. Let me say this. Okay, we got baby boomers. I say some Gen X. They gonna stay loyal. They either gonna stay loyal to who's there, regardless,
Mhm.
or they gonna abandon ship totally. And I listen, y'all can tell I be 59, 26. I was telling them folks today, they was like, "Man, you should pursue another leadership career." I told them I ain't lead nothing. I mean, I'm gonna do some stuff, but I don't know. I don't want to do that no more. I'm here to support you all, to mentor you all. But no, I don't want to be, I don't want to read the emails I got to read. I sure don't want y'all calling me. And I'm 59. So 70, I might not even have a way for y'all to call me. Look, Tim, I hope by then we can get a, what the phones, what, like when you want to do illegal activity, I'm going to be swapping them out.
Flip phone.
I'm what you call them though when you go to the
Phone.
store. Yeah, I'm gonna be changed. Listen, I'm gonna have a burner phone change every 60 days
Okay, now
because I don't want to be bothered.
y'all ignore that.
I don't want to be bothered. I don't. So look, all these people that's watching tonight and till friends, what y'all willing to do to make a change with these politicians that we know need to go? I mean, because that was one of the things that came out today in our session was like people want to complain, but don't nobody want to get up and do anything and
Or
be
run
a
for
part.
office, me included. People don't want to run for office, and I think it's unfortunate because I think there are some really good people who could do some really good things if they were willing to run for office. But I think we
Hmm.
have made it so just not a pleasant space to be in, as far as like the level of attacks and the just the overall danger,
Hmm.
the threats, the climate. Nobody wants to be bothered with that. And
You
who
know what? Well, you know who I'm
wants
married to. I
to
can run for office, but my thing would, if I could run for office, this is why I wouldn't. I'm not that temperament because I can't
but
politic.
see, and that's the thing. So I say that too. Like I say, my mouth would get me in a whole lot of trouble. But at the end, but really and truly, what is the right temperament? Right?
Well,
What
no, I'm talking
what is
about
the right
the
temperament?
politicking part. Because see, when we in there and we supposed to be talking about building a bridge in Birmingham, And then you want to say, well, Val, your bridge in Birmingham, I got this. And if you, no, we have talked about this bridge in Birmingham. So,
but is that not what's needed, though? Really,
yeah,
and
true.
is that not what's
Yeah,
needed?
true.
Like, I tell people all the time, like, I don't know, I don't understand why we can't have clean bills in the legislature. If we could move from adding unnecessary stuff to bills, we could get a lot of stuff done. We ought to be able to debate, to draft, pass, and debate clean bills that deal with exactly what it is that they're supposed to deal with.
Yeah, we got educated on that too. We had two nurses that they actually went and were fellows in DC, and they were just talking about all the different politics, how you got to know somebody. But the other thing was, and I can't remember the exact bill that went through. I think it was what it was to protect healthcare workers against violence in hospitals.
Mm-hmm.
But when the bill got passed through and everybody did what they did, because they told us, you see this and you think this going through, but when they get through politicking with it, they excluded nursing homes. Y'all ever seen people of that age snap and go, baby, them people strong. They assault people. Why would you exclude? It should have been healthcare, period. But due to politicking,
Mm-hmm.
that was taken out. So that's the whole thing. Y'all, you just need to blow up the whole system. You know what? Y'all remember them foggers that came out? You put in the house.
You talk about the system. I don't know if you saw this, and this is jumping whole different topics, but what is it? Is it Texas that's set to execute a man tonight?
It may be.
And Alabama is set to execute one in the next couple of days
Oh
or
yeah,
so.
we've been doing one a month because
I was gonna say
my sister's the warden secretary.
yeah. And I think the guy in Texas, they've got new evidence that indicates that his child did not die from shaken baby syndrome, but it looks like they're going to
Wow.
execute him anyway.
Oh, they're not listening to other. Who was the other one that died? Where did he die? And I think they say they wanted to retest the DNA, but they refused a couple weeks ago.
Mhm.
So the system.
I bring that up because you talk about systems, and you know what I'm saying. Like, I can't. It's very hard to think that in this country we would be willing to execute somebody when there is a potential, no matter how small, that they could potentially be innocent. Like, I don't know how people sleep at night advocating for that. Um,
I do because they evil.
and
They evil.
on you know really Menendez brothers, and I hadn't watched there's a new Netflix show out, but they were talking like new evidence related to the Menendez brothers.
Tiff internet went out. She started breaking up. So we're gonna carry on. So look, y'all drop some of this. What do y'all think is going on? I mean, what can we do to fix this? Because it's gonna take us to save us, you all. The politicians, the president, the mayor, the governor, the county commissioners, the city council people, and all of that. It's not gonna help us, you all. We the people are gonna have to do something. I always envision like what would be our version of the Boston Tea Party as people. Okay.
So
Tiff, I was asking what would be our version of the Boston Tea Party.
I don't know, but I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna have to tell my boss our internet evidently got like a 30-minute cap on it. It start acting up if I'm on Zoom more than 30 minutes, it starts acting up. I don't know, because I don't know that we have a collective willingness to protest in mass numbers.
You got a good point.
I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, when I think about the fact that the Montgomery bus boycott took over 300 and some odd days, I can't imagine us sticking with a movement 5 days, let alone 300 and some odd days, that require me to have difficulty and be inconvenienced and cold and walking in the rain for a cause.
And see, I'm down for it, y'all. I got that
Wait, I mean,
personality.
you are,
Yeah,
I am, but I mean, I don't think that the
yeah.
masses are.
Beans and rice. Let me tell y'all something. Beans and rice. We're gonna have to do something extreme. I'm gonna help y'all out. I'm gonna start y'all out right now. Christmas coming up. Keep your money in your pocket, y'all. But no,
You
they are.
trying to get you trying to get a rebellion started in my house.
Listen, y'all go. What is it? Black Friday. There you go. You out there. Let me tell you, Money collectively, if we decided, and that kind of would be the bus boycott for us is
Mhm.
economically. I know y'all like to get y'all nails done. Y'all like to get y'all hair. Go get your wig made so you can have and say, you know what? For my future, for my children, for my grandchildren, for those to come that ain't, I am willing to make this sacrifice. Y'all, we
One
got to do something extreme.
one day, and you make a good point. That wouldn't even take a whole lot of days if we stayed home just one day, just Black
Since
Friday.
we being, no, no,
No,
no.
no,
We
no, no,
going
no, no. 'Cause
radical.
you got to crawl before you walk now, and you got to lead the people on in. Now you can't, you asking too much. But if we think about it, if you said or if everybody collectively agreed that we're not gonna shop on Black Friday, stores are gonna be empty on Black Friday. We're not going
Yeah.
online shopping. We're not going to Walmart at 5 o'clock in the morning to fight somebody
But
over
y'all
that
gonna go out there
30-inch TV.
Saturday and make up.
But just think about the numbers. Even if you go on Saturday to make it up, just think about what the data would say about the money that was lost on that day.
Well, look, James Doster said he down for it. Eleanor said we buy for kids only. Y'all need to stop buying for these kids. They got too much. They get Christmas every day. You tell
I,
them, look, baby,
let me tell
we
you
gonna
something.
eat a good meal, and this is why mom and dad are doing this because I want you to have your freedom. Because if I don't do something drastic now, you may be back in the field,
You say James Doster, I call him Junior. We grew up
Junior.
together. Yeah, that's Junior. We grew up together, and he is down for it. But you're absolutely right. I tell my kids all the time, like I look at the stuff they have gotten for Christmas. Well, first of all, by the time we get to Christmas, they trying to figure out. They just coming up with stuff to put on the list because every time we go in the store, they come out with something. And I actually have been telling them, like, we gonna stop getting a whole lot of gifts and we gonna start doing some educational trips and some cultural things.
Mm-hmm.
Cause y'all just throwing away money on stuff that y'all get. And I told them
Yeah.
we used to get some shoes and clothes at Christmas. That would be your
Mm-hmm.
next season clothes. You got all your undershirts. They don't need any of that
Yeah.
stuff
Well,
because
you
they're
know
living
what?
it all
Something me and
along.
Terrell has been doing for years. Listen, birthdays. It ain't your birthday to celebrating anyway. We make birthdays big and we have gotten them some for Christmas, but it's not over the top. Cause I ain't finna go broke trying to do all this stuff. And honey, I ain't done
Or to
Black Friday. Well, I ain't never done Black Friday shopping for real. And I've never made it such a just a big deal. But y'all act like y'all children will lose it if you don't have all this stuff for Christmas.
But
And
you know what? I'm gonna step on some toes now because I think some of it too, even now, we do so we can post the pictures on social media so everybody can see what all we spent money on and all of the stuff
look, I'm gonna call him Junior.
we shared.
Look what Junior said.
He ain't lying. I mean, that's the truth. You know,
Yeah, I mean, y'all, come on. We have got to do. We have got to
we got
change,
to do better with our priorities. We have got to do better with
y'all.
our priorities,
In order to build generational wealth,
and
to
we
give
got to
your
do better with
kids
our
a
values.
start. I'm gonna tell y'all this, if nothing else, going back in time, and Lord knows we've helped our children. But had I known or could even saw that the economy would be like it was, would have maneuvered different just to give my children a hand up. And what I mean by that I could be say, here's 20 or $30,000 so you can buy a home right
Mhm.
now. And my kids, y'all, they make good money. They got great salaries, but the cost of a cheap house. It's expensive. It's expensive. My son paying $2,100 rent, but and he been doing it for 2.5 years. He rent a home because we told him when they saw how much apartments were, we say, see how much it costs to rent a house. And renting the house was better and 3 bedrooms, okay? But for him to buy a house, we got to have this, and this. Now, wait a minute. If he paying $2,100 a month in rent, what make you think he not gonna pay the mortgage? So you people that have younger kids, please.
But you know what, that's a testament to the obstacles and the hurdles that they want to put in place for home ownership, because
Yeah.
home ownership is the first step to generational wealth.
Look, Junior, I got to come meet you. Learn how to live off the land. I'm gonna tell you what Junior's saying. Y'all don't got out here, raise these children to be privileged. Okay, I tell my children this because we want to just say white people are privileged. No, some of us black people that have God has blessed us. Our children are privileged. They still have the melanated skin, but they are privileged. They don't know nothing about growing a tomato or nothing, a pea or nothing. Now I'm gonna say this: if it hit the fan and I got to live off this land, hey, it's in my bloodstream, okay? Y'all be talking about what y'all don't eat. Let me tell you what my dad used to say. Appetite will come. You
Yeah,
may not want to eat that, but if you get hungry enough,
you eat.
uh, you will eat it. Because when you get really hungry, y'all don't care. I hear people say, and I always tell people to don't never say what you don't eat. Because when we go to these restaurants, we don't know what we eat for real. You ain't in the kitchen with them. Y'all talking about y'all don't eat potluck. Yes, you do. If you go to a restaurant, you eat potluck. You don't know if they spitting in your food or what. We don't. But
You
we
right.
trust.
You right.
They have a 95 score. That's the biggest scam too. That food rating score, please. I see stuff up there. They have rat droppings. Uh, y'all didn't close this place down, but they give them a chance to get it right. So y'all, you can't trust none of this. I think for me, Tiff, I question every system that exists now, the validity of it and what it means.
A lot of it, all of them were created to generate money for somebody or to
Yeah.
keep somebody else from being able to amass wealth.
So it's just crazy. But look, getting back to that interview. Okay. He asked a question about immigration, about illegal immigrants, as they call them. And today, it's ironic at this conference for nursing, we had a nurse talking about human trafficking and sex trafficking, which is different, you all. You have humans trafficked for sex and humans trafficked for labor.
Labor.
And smuggling is different, but usually when they get smuggled over here, they end up in one of the two areas. But this is what I find interesting. Thing she pointed out, and y'all know it. What's his name? Jeffrey Epstein, supposed to had his island. And now we got P. Diddy, which we know now is falling into all of this. So the reason a lot of this stuff going on, y'all, it ain't because of the middle class and poor people. These are wealthy people. All of this stuff can only be maintained by people, y'all, with money. If I wanted to get into some criminal, I don't have the resources to get a plane, to pay off a border patrol, none of that. So when you really hear them talking about people coming across the border free, why? How are they able, if the border patrol people are really doing their job? And I'm not saying all of them are taking kickbacks, but y'all, money, the love of it is the root of all kind of evil, and they would take the money and let you come on across.
And but when you talk about human trafficking too, you can't negate the number of wealthy people who are hiring um a lot of immigrants and paying them cheap wages or
Yeah,
putting them into forced servitude. It's such a complex issue, but I think I always get aggravated because we talk about it. We talk, if a immigrant commits a crime, then it's way worse than if somebody goes and shoots up a school.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like, for me, we ought to be having conversations around the crime and not necessarily the status.
Of the person.
Yeah, I mean, you
True.
know what I'm saying? And so I'm real frustrated at how we talk about that. And I mean, I'm even frustrated with a lot of times how we talk about immigration, because I battle with the idea, one, of what the Bible says about immigration, and two, the fact that the natives, if they had that same idea about immigration, they
Yeah.
may still be the ones controlling the United States.
Yeah,
Um,
had they not trusted you, but you came over here,
and so
manipulation, lies, and turned on them and literally thought you had annihilated them with the Trail of Tears, but they survived. And I'm Tiff, I grew up in Atmore with the Creek Indians. I told them the fact that they give any help, it's just admirable to
and,
show.
and I'm not necessarily saying, I think borders ought to be open, or they're not issues, or we ought not be figuring
Yeah.
out. I think I get frustrated more so with the tone and tenor of the conversation. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think we
Yeah,
can
I
have
got it.
a conversation without demonizing entire groups of people. Like, I've
But
had whole arguments with people about Haitians eating dogs and cats. And I'm like, are we really? Is that what we really doing? And then
it
people are
goes back to what I started off with. Y'all let somebody come up to my humans manufactured hurricanes and this is all a conspiracy. I'm amazed. It used to be back in the day. Folks would say that is the stupidest thing I ever heard. Now it's like, well, the aliens came down and went in the room and planted an electrode in their brain. Y'all, we believe. I, you know what? Like I said, it's rare that I'm speechless, but what we going
we're
through now is
we
just
we are in a very scary time as it relates to the willingness to vet information. Um, and I
at
don't know
all.
if it is a result of the educational system, the result of us being so divided as a country. I know that we're only interested in the information that supports what we believe, right? We're
Yeah.
not interested in another viewpoint. And my dad used to tell me all the time, be careful about marrying yourself to opinions,
Yes.
ideas, because when you do that, it's very hard to divorce yourself from them. So I think it's really important that we not get so married to an opinion, that when given additional information, we can't shift that opinion.
And
Or
come back
that
and
we
say, I
can't
was
help
wrong.
to
You
shift
know,
that opinion. You know what I'm saying?
let
Like,
me tell you, I spoke up for Vance. What was it they said in the media? They tried to say, like he dismissed some. But when you went back and listened to, it's like you may say, well, that's just life, right?
mm-hmm.
But what he said in the context is, we have no control over that happening. We can't control people's behavior. That's just life. How many of us have said something like that? And that's why I tell people, don't listen to sound bites. When somebody send me a sound bite, I go find the whole video.
Me
And,
too.
and, and like my mom would say, Val, a habitual liar will tell the truth sometime.
Yeah, they will.
And
They
so you
will.
you have to be mindful of that. Because like for me,
And you have to be open to receive that truth when they tell it.
yeah, and
You know
just
what I'm
say,
saying? Like, you gotta
okay,
still be open to,
they've
just
been lying for
10, just as they told you
2,999
that.
times.
Right.
But today they told the truth. And like with the interview, this is the other thing I felt like. Of course, Kamala is going to be viewed as an angry black woman. We already know that. However, I went back and I did look up the first part of when Rachel Scott asked Trump the questions and the way he attacked her and da da da. Now, it's amazing to me. He can go at people like that and it's admirable. But when you clap back, oh, you're hostile, you're rude. And it's funny because I'm gonna go back and listen to it. All the opinions, people like, oh, he got her, he bagged her into a corner and yada yada yada. And then other people's like, oh, she stood her
Right.
ground and everything. So it's just, and I'm sure when I go back and listen to it, and when I'm
People
not.
but
not as tired. I'll be able to say, okay, I can agree with that. I can understand that. And I don't know whether Brett was acting like that the entire thing or
he did.
not.
He did.
Yeah. So
He did.
because I was skipping
But I
along.
tell people, people are gonna see. Unfortunately, they're gonna see it through their own lens. And the reality of it is, when you talk about this idea that she's an angry black woman, or that women, even with Nancy Pelosi and Hillary, and
Yeah.
some of the other, white women, there's still this idea that if they clap back or if they respond in a certain way, then now all of a sudden they're being a bitch, or they are emotional. And the
Yeah.
reality of it is, and we don't like to say it, and we definitely don't want to admit it, but racism, sexism, patriarchy, and misogyny are baked into our socialization.
For
And
sure.
you know what I'm saying? And so it's important. I'll give you an example. Today I was at the doctor's office. So she's like, "Where do you work?" And so I said, "The law offices of Robert Sims Thompson, PC." And she said, "Oh, well, what kind of lawyers are they?" And I was like, "You mean me?" Because why did you assume that they were the lawyer and not me?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, why was that your automatic assumption? And those are those, and I say that to say those are just those little ways that our socialization give us a lens through which we view other people,
It's
right?
kind of like with me. I'm a nurse. What kind of nurse are you? A nurse.
Mhm. Right,
you know,
right.
or more often,
And
are
we
you
have
a
to
nursing
push
assistant?
back. I tell folks we have to push back on those little microaggressions, or those little places that don't seem like a big deal where those things show up. And then we have to make sure that we're teaching our children not to engage in that same behavior or that
Yeah.
same thought process. I don't ever want my son to think just because a female is willing to speak her mind that all of a sudden every time she says something and she doesn't smile when she's saying it, that she's an angry woman. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't have to smile and be flowery to
Yeah.
I don't have to be that to be a normal, regular, breathing female.
But you know what, Tiff? The other thing too, we need to allow people to show their emotions. If I'm hurt, if I'm angry, if I'm disappointed, I should be able to express that.
Regardless of your gender.
I don't need to be feeling pain and I gotta feel like I gotta nice it up. That's why I always tell people when people ask you, how you doing today? If it ain't a good day, be honest.
Right.
Say it's not a good day.
I have learned to do that. I'm one of them people that used to always be like, "How you doing?" "Oh, I'm good." Now I'm like, you know what? I'm treading water. Pray for me, because but we have to, and we have to allow people, like you said, to take ownership of how they're feeling and not walk around with some super syndrome that they think says you have on your game all the time.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I mean, you all do what you can to protect yourself. Tiff freezing up again. Look, I tell you, Lord, y'all, they gonna have to go get what is it called?
So
High
am I
speed,
froze?
high
Am I
speed.
froze now? High speed. Am I froze now?
You just unfroze.
Okay.
You little fuzzy. I guess you'll
And you
clear
know
up
what?
in a minute.
I
Yeah, you popped out again. So you all just take care of yourself through all of the craziness. Um, learn sometimes it's just best not to respond because people are going to think what they want to think regardless of what you say or what you do or how you act. People are still going to respond. They're going to think bad of you whether you do what they want you to do. So I actually shared with a young nurse, black male nurse today, did a presentation. I mean, he did an excellent job. And in the middle of it, he was pointing at the screen. He said, "Oh, I try not to use my hands so much." So later on, he said, "Well, I be wanting feedback so people can tell me if they feel like I'm too emotional about it, whatever." I told him, I said, "Listen, you present it the way I said, it's obviously your passion, what you were talking about. Don't change how you do the presentation. That's because people are not gonna be happy. If you keep being you, they're not gonna be happy. If you acclimate to them, they're not gonna be happy." I said, so don't let anyone stop you from being you. You ain't screaming and hollering, acting inappropriate. I said, when you were speaking, I was like, he is passionate about that. And this was a project that he came up to benefit patients that he identified was a problem. He said, how can I help people better understand why they need to take care of themselves that have COPD? That's chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. He said, because I keep seeing them coming back every month with all this fluid on them and sick and tired. How can I fix this? So he found a organization out there called Better Breathing, and he started a club,
Mm.
and he's really excited about it. I say, we should have felt that in your presentation. You should be. By the way, oh, forget that.
You
Be
got to be
you.
authentic. I've
Be
got
you.
I've got a girlfriend who works for a very prominent politician, and she's out of Fairfield. And I'll tell you, and I tell her this all the time. I love watching her because she is 100% her authentic self all the time, and it is a beautiful thing to watch. It's just a
Yeah.
beautiful thing to watch. And I think it allows her delivery. I think people are very embracing and accepting, and I think they love her because they know that she's coming from a very authentic place.
Place. Well, you
Um,
know what? One of my people I love here in Birmingham. And when she was on the city council and now she's commissioned, people talked about Sheila Tyson. Oh, she too this, she too ghetto, she too whatever. Let me tell you something. Girlfriend, she fight for the people. Her district, baby, even during COVID, they was trying not to bring them vaccines. Oh, baby, she was on the phone to DC.
mhm.
Her district was getting shots before anybody else because she wasn't having it. And I never forget during that time, I was on the COVID vaccine. This gentleman who happened to be white, she had a big old afro, beautiful. And we were on a Zoom. And I don't even know how the conversation came up. And he was like, did y'all see her hair? I said, what do you mean by that? Well, her hair was just all big. And Tiffany, he was older than me. I said, so what you trying to convince me of today that you've never seen an afro? Well, not, I was just, she can wear her hair the way she want to, baby. They hurry up and end this.
But they did. But again, we that's where
Hey,
we
Harvey Johnson said hello, then he said good night. Let me see what this means. Harvey, what you mean with these big eyes right here that you put up?
he
What do you mean by that?
he watching. That's I'm watching.
Oh,
Hey, Harvey.
see, I ain't hip. Tiffany still got young children. I ain't got nobody to show me nothing, okay? I thought that meant shocked
Uh-uh. No, that's just I'm watching.
with everything. So, Tiff, look, you keep up the good fight down there. Oh, Tiff, I got to bring this up. I was so pleasantly, yeah, we're going to close on good night. I was so pleasantly surprised and happy to see Tuskegee is bringing back, is it aviation?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. Oh my God. I was like, that is so wonderful.
Yeah,
That is so
it's a
wonderful.
beautiful thing and definitely has its roots in history. And you talk about that. It's amazing how you don't appreciate the people you share space with.
Uh-huh.
When I first moved to Tuskegee, I had an opportunity to spend a lot of time with Colonel Carter and his wife Mill. Mill was a African American female here in Tuskegee who got her pilot's license, and then Colonel Carter was, of course, one of the Tuskegee Airmen. And I used to go to their house. We sit and talk. They tell stories, the whole nine. It was only until I was at the airman site, maybe 8, 9 years ago, watching a video and Colonel Carter flashed up on the screen, that it really, kind
Dawned
of
on you.
settled on me that I was in sharing space with, greatness and the contributions that he had made, and so it's a beautiful thing to see.
Yeah, it's
It's a
amazing. I remember when Red Tails came out, and we bought it. Y'all, this was still back in the days. And I showed it
fine.
to my dad. He was on the Navy. Tiffany, my dad narrated that
Mhm.
entire movie because he was a World War II veteran, and he was calling the names. Even though he
Mhm.
was like, and this happened, and this happened, and you all, if you don't know the history, First of all, you need to go watch Red Tail. And for your young children, y'all, that regiment of black flyers who say told could not be flyers, pilots, did not, do you hear me? Did not lose one plane that they escorted. They became so elite that white pilots refused to go unless the red tails was escorting them. So much so, my nephew in love, who is my best friend's son, who's a race car driver, he drives a car 99. He has a red tail, honoring the Tuskegee Airmen, and also his favorite race car driver. Y'all, greatness, greatness. So I am so
And
happy.
talk to your grandparents. You know what I'm saying? I think we take for granted just the things that even our own family members went through
Yeah,
and participated in and remember. And so I think it's really important that we make a habit of listening to the elders in our family
for
about
sure. And have
all of
conversations, you all. Take time and write that stuff down and write that stuff down. So Tiff, has been great. You all, I'm gonna give y'all one announcement. Now, next week,
Look, I actually, so before I got on this call, because I told you I was on another Zoom call. So before I got on here, you'll be proud of me. I actually shared it on my page and was like, another one, y'all come on in. So
okay,
thanks to
good.
my friends, thanks to my friends who come on. I told Val, I don't usually like to share stuff for people to watch
I
me.
told her she
I like to
better.
be incognito.
Look, well, y'all, look, next week, we're gonna be Jarrell Jones has been on here before. He's executive director of Renew Birmingham. As you all know, the violence is escalating here. Look, you all, this gentleman, and I can say what he say. He was a menace to society. That's what he described himself to. Strong arm robbery at a very young age, and then it escalated to murder. Um, he was a crack addict and went to prison. And the grace of God, got out, went to UAB, got his degree, and now he says he has a obligation to give back to society. So he started this organization called Renew Birmingham, and his one of his things to reduce crime by putting the neighbor back in neighborhoods, and that's giving people in the neighborhood empowering them to know you can take back your neighborhood if just by becoming neighborly. And so the program he has, he's in 4 neighborhoods in Birmingham. I think the crime rates decreased, I forgot, by 23%. He said they've had an uptick this year, but he just think that's with everything that's going on. So be here. Now he's straight up, no chaser. He ain't for the faint. And y'all, like Tiff say, we gotta stop being nice about some of this stuff that we want to change. We gotta say it with, how they used to say it with your whole chest,
With your whole chest.
with your whole chest. And so I'm looking forward to that. As we know, Mayor Wolfen launched a task force this week. And what I do love is Chief Roper. He is in consultation with them, and y'all know he's a man of faith and prayer. And they have some other leaders. But the thing I didn't like, or I couldn't notice, do you have any people from the street on it? Because I feel like you need to go get some of these people that was in this lifestyle to do this and be involved and give you ideas how to impact these youth, because they were in that lifestyle and they actually can tell you how to go out and engage with these young people. I ain't against all these corporation leaders and all that stuff, but y'all, they don't know nothing. You need to talk to the people that's been affected by it. Talk to the people being affected by it. Tiffany tried to come back in, but her picture ain't showing up. I don't know what's going on, but look. So we're going to get Tiff some high-speed internet when she on her good job so that she won't have to be popping in and out. So I thank you all for joining. And definitely come back next week to hear from Jarrell Jones. He gonna share with us. So you all have a good night. I'm finna go take my shower and go to bed so I can get back to this conference tomorrow, because I's tired, as they say.